What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. I hope you guys have all been staying safe and staying busy during this whole COVID-19 pandemic situation. I know that I've been staying busy. I'm trying to catch up on a lot of content for you guys, one of which is going to be for today's video. We will be swapping out the OEM paddle shifters here on my 335i. Let's get to it. Okay, so these are the OEM paddle shifters that come standard on a F30 M Sport model. So if you do not have an M Sport model, you probably don't have paddle shifters and you'll have to do a little bit of extra work on top of what we're going to be doing today. But since I have paddle shifters in here already that are existing, we really just need to swap the actual paddles itself. We don't have to do any coating, we don't have to do any modifying of the steering wheel or anything like that. So this should be a quick and simple install, nice little upgrade from what we've currently got. Before purchasing the paddles that we are going to be installing in today's video, I was really trying to figure out what I wanted to do with this interior, since it's, you know, coral red, and I've got a little bit of Alcantara up here and some dry carbon. Additionally, we've got like some, you know, silver trim that is OEM, as well as my silver start button that we've got there. So I was kind of unsure of what kind of paddles I wanted to do here. I just know that I wanted them to be a little bit bigger. These are okay. They obviously feel decent, but something a little bit better, a little bit sportier looking was kind of what I wanted. So I was really considering doing red. But again, I was kind of afraid to do that just because it's a little bit loud for my taste. And since we did the silver down here, I thought maybe doing silver here would be better, or even black. So I'm going to show you guys what we ended up going with. I even thought about buying extended carbon fiber paddles to kind of go with the dry carbon fiber theme in here, but those are extremely expensive, and modification is such like a small, minute detail that I didn't want to spend a crazy amount of money on it. So that's kind of why we're not going to go with carbon as much as I would like to do that. I think what we're going to be doing is actually going to be a nice little subtle upgrade. Okay, so here's what we went with. These might look familiar to you guys, especially if you guys own F80 models. These are OEM paddles actually out of a BMW M2, which are very, very similar styling. They might even be identical to the F80, F82, M3, M4. So again, these are OEM paddles. I actually scooped these up on eBay for dirt cheap and really just couldn't pass up the deal. Again, so it's gonna look pretty OEM, but just a little bit, you know, a little bit nicer. And I'll show you guys a comparison once we get the OEM ones off. They came with the paddles themselves, as well as the little covers that go on the back side. So we don't need to do any wiring, we don't need to do any coating or anything like that. It's just gonna be a simple swap. Okay, so the first thing we need to do here is open the trunk and disconnect the negative terminal on the battery. Since we are gonna be screwing around with the airbag, we don't want to run the risk of having that pop out in our face. So it's just gonna be a safe idea to take the negative terminal off the battery. All right, so now we're here on the driver's side. As you can see on the side of the steering wheel, there is a small hole here. There's one on each side. So basically what we need to do is take a flathead screwdriver, kind of put it in here. There's a small metal channel that this will travel through, and there's two metal clips, one on each side, that we kind of need to compress. You kind of need to feel around for it. It takes a couple times to do it to kind of figure out what you're pushing on. But once we get the airbag out, I will actually show you what I'm talking about. So if you do one on each side, we kind of need to do this one first and then move to the other side, and it'll pop out each side of the airbag. So at this point, we've got the airbag released. So you can do one of two things. You can actually go in here and unplug all of these and actually remove the airbag completely, or what I'm going to do, just to make my life a little easier, I've got a microfiber towel. I'm going to put it up here and just kind of hang our airbag up here out of the way. Just kind of like that, without putting too much strain on these wires. All right, so inside of here, you'll actually see a couple Torx T20 bolts. One being here, and the other one being this one here. My finger is. We're going to remove both of those, and that will actually release the paddle itself. So here are the little brackets I was talking about that you need to release through the steering wheel hole right here. This little metal bracket and one on this side here. So what you do is when you stick it through the hole, As you can see, I've got it through the hole. You can kind of see where my screwdriver is, my flathead. There's this metal channel here that you need to hit and go inside of. So when you hit it, it will release. It'll kind of push this metal bracket, and that will release this side of the steering wheel, or this side of the airbag. Do the same thing on the other side, and it will release. All right, so the next thing we need to do here is actually disconnect the paddle itself. So you see this blue clip here, and there's one on the other side as well. What we need to do is kind of grab this wire here and pull it out. It'll come out, and then we need to just disconnect. All you need to do is grab it and pull it. Just as an FYI, these blue clips suck to remove. You just gotta pull on them real hard. But you can kind of see how that unplugged, and then you can grab it and fish the wire through. And voila, we got one of them out. That's what it should look like. So the other one is down here, same thing, you gotta kind of find the wire and kind of pull it out from its little holder and then unplug. Here is a comparison of the OEM. This is the minus and the new one. So relatively the same kind of size in terms of height, but much skinnier, much sleeker looking. So these aren't really extended paddles per se, but they're just a little bit skinnier. But we'll go ahead and transfer this over to the new one. Okay, so the next part, to release this entire unit, there is a small pin here. One side is a little bit fatter, this side is smaller, so it only goes in one direction, just for, so you know, for reinstall. But I'm gonna take a small screwdriver here and just kind of push this up a little bit, and you can see that it's popping out here on the top. So what we need to do is kind of grab that and pull that pin out. So there's the pin. Once you pull that guy out, this whole unit kind of pops up, just like that. And then you'll see that there's a spring here that may fall off. All you need to do is put it back on. So grab the spring, and then we'll just put it right back on top, just like that. And that's kind of how it goes. And so the button is actually right here. So if you push it, you can actually feel it clicking. But just make sure you don't lose the spring, make sure you don't lose this little button piece as well. Okay guys, so fast forward a little bit of time. Basically, once I took this apart, this is the stock paddle. And so as you can see, built into the paddle, it has all of the mounting stuff. So we are not able to take this apart. So I actually had to go on to AliExpress, and I actually purchased this little adapter piece, which is basically this, just not mounted to an actual paddle. So this took some time to get from China because obviously with coronavirus and all that stuff, it did take some time to ship and all that. So this is the piece that we needed, and it actually came with some new backing plates here as well. So we still have the stock ones, which we're not going to use, and we've got some new ones here. So it came with this piece, and then a screw as well. So one for each side. So now we're able to actually put this back together. So the way we left it off before was this piece was already removed off of the OEM paddle. So what we need to do is assemble with the new paddle. So what I'm going to do first is actually take this little adapter piece. It goes just like this. And there's the backing plate here, so it fits on just like that. Okay, so here's the paddle. Here's the little adapter piece. There's a little channel right here that the paddle will actually slide into, and it'll sit in place just like that, and you'll see that there's a hole there. And so then we'll take our backing plate, line it all up, and so all of that will screw in together. So we'll take our little screw here, which is a little Phillips, and then we'll screw it in. Okay, it doesn't need to be super tight because it is plastic going into plastic, or metal going into plastic. So now that we've got this together, we can go ahead and take our little paddle module thing here. And once again, you want to make sure that you do have the spring here as well as this little button. So, because it will fall out. So what we need to do now is slide this on. Let's see here. So it kind of goes on this side first. So once it slips into place, you can align your holes here. Hope you guys saw that. So you You can align the holes here. And then we can go ahead and put our little pin back in. And again, it only goes in one direction. One hole's slightly bigger than the other. So it'll fit right into place, and now we've got our working paddle. So we want to make sure that it clicks before we go ahead and reinstall this on the car. And it does, so that one's good to go. So again, I'll start over from this side here with the existing paddle. So once again, we're going to go ahead and remove the pin. Take a small screwdriver, push the pin up from the bottom. So now that we've got the pin out here, what we can do is pull this off of here. So once again, it only kind of lifts up this direction first and comes right out. So don't lose those pieces. And then we can go ahead and take our new paddle and our new adapter piece here. It's going to slide in like this. And then we can go ahead and put our backing plate on. So it should fit just like that. And then we can put our screw in here. Tighten this down. And then we can take our OEM piece here and put it on reverse order, so it's like that, and then realign the pin. Alright, so there you have it. Went ahead and put the pin back in, it clicks, everything feels good, now we can go ahead and reinstall on the car. Alright, so we're ready to reinstall in reverse order. I already put the negative one on here, so basically going to feed this wire through this hole once again. Go ahead and line up your paddle. And then you can take your T20, go ahead and reinstall that. And then you want to go ahead and plug your blue connections back in, make sure it snaps into place, and then tuck your wire back. Okay, so this is what it should look like when it's all back into place. So these little blue connectors have a little mounting area where it'll click into place, so that way it doesn't flop around in here. So both of them are secured. They're all plugged in, good to go. We can go ahead and put our airbag back on. Okay, so the airbag will just pop right back into place since we didn't unplug anything. Just want to line it up pretty straight and then push. There we go. And now we're good to go. So we can go take a little drive and make sure that the paddles work. They look and feel really, really nice. Alright guys, just a quick test to make sure everything works. So they look really nice. Feel sleek. So I'm gonna just go ahead and pull the up. Yep, went into manual mode, so that's good. Let's make sure downshift works. Yep, 7, 6, 5. Everything works. Feels good. Looks nice. Alright guys, so as you can see, everything worked nicely. They feel very nice, very OEM. And obviously they click OEM because it is all OEM parts. So that just about wraps it up for the paddle shifter upgrade. So again, these are from an M2, but super nice, like it. Alright guys, that just about wraps it up for the paddle shifter upgrade on my F30 335i. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, we will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.